We are recording. Samir, how are you? Welcome from Northern Cape Town down to the southern suburbs here. How are you, my dear, dear wise friend way up north?
Fantastic. Thank you, Susie. Such a pleasure to share space with you again.
Oh, it's such fun talking to you. So for those of you who don't know, Samir is just the most awesome, I'm going to say friend, but he's also an incredibly wise, a man of wisdom. So as a counselor and as his role that he's playing in at this moment in our busy, busy, busy world of what is going on. For those of you who don't know, it is the 7th of December, 2020. So if you arrive on this today, or you arrive on this in a year's time, or you arrive on this in 10 years' time, the message is in time for you. And I love chatting to you. So Samir and I are talking consciousness. We're talking about what is going on energetically around the world and around us as beings at the moment, because there is so much going on. There is Christmas coming up. There is end of school years happening now, so children are going to be at home, but children are around. There's so much uncertainty with regards to how this year is ending after its crazy reset, beautiful reset for some of us, not so beautiful for others, but there is meaning behind it. This isn't happening to you. This is happening for you. This isn't happening to us, guys. This is happening for us. It's for our growth and for our evolution. There is a much bigger picture at play, but we'll stick to the basics for the moment. So, yeah, Samir, we were chatting earlier about people really being energetically whacked at the moment. Energetically whacked in that what's happened in our past. It's something that I worded this week with being caught with bringing your past attached to you as a being now, and being stuck in an old story with the fear then of stepping into the future, the untold story, the story that hasn't manifested yet. But the old stories are the ones that are keeping a lot of people tied down and in panicky mode now, because they think that is the only story, especially with losing jobs, especially with relationships that are being challenged now, especially with the old norm that we know, because the future is so unknown and uncertain. So what wisdom can Samir part with at the moment, with what is going on?
I think let's start with the statement you made first. This idea that things aren't happening to us, but for us. Because this is actually something that's quite challenging to digest. Because if you're quite honest, while we're going through things, we're not generally looking for the blessing or the lesson. We're just trying to survive the moment. And it's only when we have time for introspection and actually look back, only then do we see the blessing of the moment past. And something that I've started doing more frequently is actually having a gratitude journal, because that allows me now to actually consciously look at things in my life right now that I really appreciate, that I'm grateful for. And it doesn't have to be huge things, it can be little things. And I usually find that when I start teaching myself to look for these things, it becomes easier. So it could just be that it's a beautiful day today. It could be that I woke up this morning. It could be that I have shelter, that I have a beautiful wife and a beautiful son. It could be that I'm so happy to have an opportunity to engage with beautiful people, that I have an income, that I'm alive, I'm here, I have a family. It could just be that you're grateful to feel the wind on your face. So anything, big, small, just write it down, because what you're actually doing is teaching yourself now to look for the positive, to look for things to be grateful for. And what that does is it actually trains your brain to create pathways then to see these things in your life. And it actually allows you to see opportunities in your life as well that will bring in more positivity. So the brain is actually an organ or an aspect of your being which can actually be programmed. So you have different levels of consciousness. So the aspect of you that's listening to this or watching this video, that's the conscious aspect. Now, yes, you might think of something that's happening as well. So we're sitting and listening. I'm thinking of what I'm gonna make for dinner, or I'm thinking I need to pick up the kids or whatever. But then it comes back. That's like the conscious aspect. It's the aspect of the brain that we're holding it right now. Then we have a subconscious and an unconscious aspect as well. The subconscious is the aspect of our mind, which actually programs the way we do things, and it houses our habits. And the unconscious is a deeper aspect, or a deeper aspect of the mind, where I believe the hidden self resides, where our trauma is, where our values lie. And that actually directs what we consciously allow ourselves to take in, as well as our habits. So, well, I was telling a couple of friends and some of my clients as well that the self is also embedded within the unconscious, and it has energetically aspects within the other two as well. And in order to actually be present in the moment we are in right now, it takes a certain level of conscious awareness. And if we are able to bring ourselves into this moment, we realize that who we were, or who we are is an accumulation of the experiences and the lessons and the stories that we used to tell ourselves. And the person that we're creating, that's a future self. But if we're honest with ourselves, we would realize that that future self is actually made here and now. The past self brought us to this moment and has constructed this present self, which is actually a future self of the past. And the only self that we can truly engage with and that will actually bring about change in our lives is right now, in the present moment. And because there's been so many shifts, and I know, Susie, you were speaking of energetic shifts. That's only one aspect. We have the physical shifts, we have the spiritual shifts, energetic, mental, emotional, material, monetary. There's been shifts on all of those levels. And what is important is to take stock of where we've been. And December is such a beautiful time of the year to do that, because it's coming to a close of a certain year. Actually taking stock of what this year has been for you. And for a lot of people, it's been insane. It's been crazy. There's been job loss. There's been famine. There's been people going hungry. There's been a lot of negative stuff happening. But there's also been a lot of beauty. And it's important to look at both, to take stock of the good stuff that's happened to you and the bad stuff. and to realize that housed within the good stuff and the bad stuff has been beautiful blessings and lessons. And not to attach yourself to either the good or the bad, but to actually realize that good and bad is just an interpretation or perception of a certain energy. And then energy in and of itself is neutral. And that we actually color the energy or our reality with our perception, which is based on our self structure, which is an accumulation of our experiences, of our values, of our thoughts, of our processes. And it's important to be aware of all those things. And even just an awareness of our stuff shifts it. Just an awareness. You don't even have to do anything yet. Just being aware of, oh, when this happens, I behave like this. Now, when that happens again, you're first conscious about it. Oh, when that happens, I do this. What can I do this time? What can I do differently? And just kind of play with it. Because in this life, we take it so seriously. So seriously. Like, I need to do this because of that. I need to do this because of that. What if I just said, I just need to be in this moment? I would love to experience more pleasure, more joy, more bliss. I'd like to experience this very moment. How much would your life change just with inviting that into your life? And I know it's something very difficult because we've been conditioned and told by society that we need to be ashamed of pleasure and joy. When's the last time you had a moment where you were truly happy, where you experienced joy, where you weren't overly serious because you need to do this to get that? Because if you look at the large picture, we all want certain things in life. And we all know if I want something, I need to do this specific routine or these specific actions to receive that. But we don't look slightly further. What if I changed who I am and replaced the person on the inside and I started being instead? Because from that space, you start automatically doing things and then getting the things you want anyways. And I think it's so important to note that there's different types of pleasure as well. So I'll just mention two: spiritual pleasure and materialistic pleasure. Now, spiritual pleasure is viewed as something that comes from inside and a connection with something greater than just yourself. And the interesting thing is, when you go into the space of wanting to experience spiritual pleasure and you allow yourself to do it, you actually give yourself permission to experience spiritual pleasure. The materialistic stuff comes anyways. Because we are as human beings, spiritual beings having a human experience. So we'll enjoy all of those things anyways by tapping into who we are on the inside. But so many times we get distracted by the external that we don't allow ourselves to engage with who we are on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Speaks into like this idea of self-worth or self-esteem. And I mean, society has been conditioning us for so long that value is found out there somewhere. And that if you want to be valuable, chase after those things. If you want to be valuable, you need to have these things. This is what value looks like.
Total program.
And we're chasing after that value. And I mean, I've been caught in that trap myself as well, Susie, where I thought I need to have this course, I need to have gone through that process before I can be a person of value. And it's only when I stepped outside of that and I started going for my own self work and going through various courses, I realized that a lot of the knowledge that I was seeking, or a lot of what I was looking for, was actually been inside me all the time. And that all those things outside of me was merely guiding me inwards, so that I could start listening to that inner voice, that intuition, that higher self, or whatever we want to call
Mm.
that inner voice, or the spark of the divine, or the universe. And it's about engaging more with that, allowing that to grow. Because if we imbue ourselves in the attributes of the Supreme, and we started living from that space, our actions, thoughts, words will become divine. And it's about embracing that fact that
Mm.
we are more than just human beings. We're just having this human experience together, and that there's more depth to who you are and who I am and who everybody is. And actually connecting to people not from a space of ego, where it's me versus you or us versus them, but rather looking at another human being or even inanimate objects or plants, anything, and realizing that the divine is within that and the divine is within me. Let's allow that to engage. Because what then happens is we stop looking at life through this lens of what can I get out of it, and start looking through this lens of love. And that changes everything.
Yeah.
Because if the divine is in everything and we're acting from a space of love, we will have more compassion, more empathy, and we'll engage with people differently. Because it's about the collective, it's about the sense of community and growing together instead of just me and my needs. It becomes a we. And I feel that's something beautiful.
Oh, yeah. To know that you're not alone in this big, or first of all, on this planet and in this big, beautiful existence. It's powerful stuff. You speak powerful words, and when I reflect on the journey that I know you've taken, I've taken. You hear about people awakening. It really is something totally internal, as you say. And
Mm.
we get so stuck, and I really do speak from my experience. For years and years and years and years and years, I was so stuck in being defined from my past story of who I supposedly was. I was a woman. First of all, I was a little girl, then I was a young woman, then I was a woman. But I was always the product of and labeled because I came from a family that was broken, divorced. So therefore, I already had a label. And because you come from a family that's divorced, therefore you are doomed and destined to mess up your relationships and divorce too. So my past and everything of my story, society had given me a label, a condition. And it's such an interesting thing to finally unpack when you suddenly realize, that all of everything that is us and that has made us who we are, without a doubt, has got all the programs and all the influence of our upbringing, number one, then of society, number two, and the bigger control over the globe, number three. I'm a byproduct of it. I love this analogy of, and I don't know if I've mentioned it here with you, if you imagine that old switchboards that were all those plugins, that old telephone system where I think you had to have a line and then plug in. Now, with this awakening and with this realizing what is going on energetically, with realizing what is going on in the world at the moment, 2020, and there is a lot that is being revealed of, there's a lot being revealed. People can think for themselves now, okay? But we have, and how this has worked for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. You speak about we are these spiritual beings, these benevolent beings coming down to experience a human life, experience what it is like to be inside of a body. You are experiencing what it is like to be a man. I'm experiencing what it's like to be a woman. But these programs that we literally have been programmed, like we have been properly programmed. We're actually in a game. We are in a game, and we're a character in a game, and we have been characters in this game our entire lives, and probably lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes before. And what's happened now is that somebody's dropped the board game. Somebody's dropped the board game. The pieces are all over the place. And the people who made the game cannot put all those characters back, because some of them have actually fallen off the board completely and thought, hey, there's another whole world out here. What's going on? We have literally been energetically programmed like sheep, or being put in the same classroom, or being put in a uniform, or being put in a system with rules and regulations. Who says, by the way, that I am not left-handed when I was forced to hold my pen in the right? And it's these little things that if we realize and honestly and truly look at it and think, oh my God, they made me do X, Y, Z. And how many children fought the system in a classroom where they didn't settle, where they couldn't learn to write from left to right when the writing was actually from right to left. There's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong or anything. But we were conditioned and programmed to say you hold your pen in your right and you write from left to right. And you read the sentences like this. You all stand in a line. You must all eat your veg, meat, starch, whatever the food chain was. You must all put fluoride in your water and have it for your teeth, for healthier teeth. All we did was say, yes, thank you, yes, thank you, okay. We have been programmed to do everything to behave so that we can be controlled. But if you take the big picture out of who is controlling us, the most important person to realize who's controlling us is self. And that is the awakening to suddenly realize, oh my God, I've been controlled through the system, but I'm one of millions and millions and millions, and I'm one of, in a year, that has been controlled for thousands of years. So for the control, it's the norm. It's the total norm. Now suddenly with the world coming into absolute chaos and our safe world of a steady job, 9 to 5, a pension, going to school, the children must go to school, then they're home for school holidays. Now they're home on and off throughout the year. There's chaos. The system is being revealed that if it is not a system, it is broken. But the funny thing is that board game, that game is broken. And coming out of a past of programs, all of those things that we plugged in, you must do this and you are this because you're a woman, you have these things that who you represent, and because you're a man, you have these things that you represent. On an energetic level, as an energetic being, our past does not, first of all, determine our future. period. So if you're listening to this, stop it. Stop your past. Your past has happened. You're now a being right now thinking, what on earth do I do with myself? I've been so conditioned to believe that this is what I have to eat, this is when I have to sleep, this is the job I have to go to, that I hate it. Because it was a board game, it was a system that we were put into. And it is all coming to pieces now, where individuals pop out. You've popped out. Samira, you popped out. I've popped out. Whoever's listening to this, you've popped out. And you're thinking, there really must be more to this. But now we're in a state of panicking about the future because it's so uncertain, because our past has the board games tipped upside down. Oh my God, how do I put my piece back on the board so that I can carry on doing my 9 to 5 and carry on being who I was and carry on being in a system that worked then. And the trick of it is literally to stop. Exactly what it says. Stop. Stop this human body and become present. You are an energetic field that has been in a system of control and us as humans for thousands and thousands of years. And we are now being awoken to this, to realize, oops, we can control ourselves. And we control ourselves by controlling our energy fields. And we take ownership of ourselves by controlling our emotions. Our emotions are our energy. And when everyone says be present, come into the now, there's a wonderful book, guys. You have to get it. Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. You can listen to it on YouTube if you have to. There is a full book on YouTube there that you can listen to. And the power of now, when I learned that, to become present, exactly what I stepped out into nature. Nature brings you presence. Stepping into nature and gratitude. Your gratitude journal, Samir, spot on. I've got books and books and books. I used to wake up in the morning and sit there. I'm happy and grateful for, and bring in everything, every single body part, every single material thing that I had, everything that I had, I brought into gratitude. And from that, it evolved to more. But to stop yourself and bring yourself and realize that you're an energetic being and that you now have to have an awareness of your energy field. What are you putting out there? What is your future creating from this here and now in this energy field? And most people are all over the place because of the uncertainty of no jobs, and it's Christmas coming up. And I've been on in chaos over the year with emotions and uncertainty and what's going on. The only recipe for the future. How do you bake a cake? You get the ingredients now. You turn the oven on now. I didn't turn it on last week to bake my cake now. I didn't turn it on last year to bake my cake now. I'm baking it now, and what ingredients I am choosing to put in the cake. I'm not going down to Pick and Pay to buy a cake where there are 10 chocolate and 3 vanilla. I'm making my own cake. So I get to put the ingredients in that I choose. And the ingredients in a cake are your normals, whatever, but you get to put in whether you want chocolate, caramel, vanilla, lemon, red velvet. It's your cake. These are all your emotions of self. Stop. Get your ingredients. What am I putting into my energy field? What am I baking? What am I listening to? Who am I listening to? What am I eating? What am I ingesting just with people around me? What people am I putting myself into? What am I reading? What am I, even creams? What am I putting onto my body? Everything has an energy field. But when I stop and assess what my address is, what my frequency is, who I am now, you have to stop. You actually have to stop. You have to physically stop. If it's not working for you and everybody is, and you're all over the place of uncertainty, and I know from personal experience in my story, I had to stop. And the only way forward was to say, okay, well, who am I now? What am I representing now? Me, selfishly, who am I? Who is Suzie? What is my frequency? What am I putting into my cake to give me the result that I want in the future for what my cake looks like? And right now, I'm putting in that self-worth because I am worthy of it. And I'm putting in that self-worth by stopping and giving myself some time with me, with nature, with being present, hearing the birds. When last did you hear the birds? When last did you hear the birds? When last did you look at the clouds? When last did you lie on the lawn and look up? You're so busy looking. People are so, and this is not a judgmental or accusations or anything. It's like me talking to myself and talking to you, Samir. Like, everyone's so stuck in a phone or technology or worrying about the future. There's always something going on, but nobody knows how to be present. Nobody knows how to be. And it was a huge, massive shift in my life when I suddenly realized, oh my God, my future is determined by my ripple now. But who am I now? I was so busy trying to think, what have I got to go do? Got to go do, got to go do, got to go do. That I was stuck in my past. Energy bringing it into the present because I was still in the doing mode. But when you stop and when you become the being in a moment of realize, just no busyness, just look, what am I grateful for? I'm so grateful for my home, my little home here that is just perfect for me in this time and moment. I have everything that I require. I'm grateful for roof over my head. I'm grateful for the music I'm able to listen to. I'm grateful for my technology when I do choose to get onto it. I'm grateful for the birds that sing outside. Gratitude brings you into presence, brings you into proper presence. You're spot on right about that. And when you realize that the future is only determined by your present, I now can consciously create my ripple, my who I am. I know what I'm feeding it. I'm feeding it positive stuff I'm listening to. I'm feeding it positive people because I choose positive people that I want to hang around with. I'm choosing positive and healthier food. I'm choosing more water in my diet. I'm choosing healthier vibration for me. Because the future, funny enough, it's actually quite easy. The future is determined by my now. If I have so much goodness in my frequency of being present, it creates the next now, which creates the next now, which creates the next now, which creates the hour, the afternoon, the evening. My future is a complete byproduct from my now. Because if you live in the now and you live present and you are so embodying of excitement in the now, of whatever you're doing now, if you're reading a book now, read it properly. If you're writing a letter, write it with you being present, not with the TV blaring and somebody having a conversation with you. Finish the things that you start in the now. Give it your attention and what you are now, and that all energetically evolves into more of those nows. But if you're constantly trying to fight the past, you're creating very much the same future with the same patterns. The now determines the future, not the past. The past is lessons, as you say. It's stuff that we have. There's good and there's bad that's come out of it. But when you look at the bad of anything, they're only good. You actually realize if relationships didn't work out, it's because, you know what, thank goodness they didn't work out. There is always good that comes out of it. But now we get to drive our now. And these moments now, Samira, are freaking crucial for people to stop, to actually stop and realize, assess themselves. Who am I? Who am I? And what am I doing with my life? And stop and realize, okay, what is actually creating my future? There's chaos around me. Well, of course, hello. And when you bring it back into that you are an energy field on your own that can totally drive its own future. Understanding you're the one who actually has the brain in your body that tells your leg to go forward, to step forward. You get to take the step forward in the direction that you want to go. And I just know that I know that I know that I know that being present in the now is exactly what takes me into the next now. And so I may as well make the best of the now and put a smile on it as best I can and feed my nutritional cake and energy field with all the wonderful, yummy stuff and face only the yummy stuff. The past is the past because it's left us. It's there for a reason. It's for us now to take that as the lessons and grow and adapt and adjust our energy fields in order to go forward and to create. And you only create by being. You don't create by still going. You create by starting it from somewhere. You want to catch a fish, you have to put a hook on first.
I think, Suzie, it's so important also to understand that it's not about beating yourself up about what's going on. And it's not even about trying to assume the mindset necessarily. Because a lot of the time we misunderstand co-creation. It's not about just being positive all the time and happy, joyful, pleasure as a bunny. It's about acknowledging what's happening right now and looking for the lesson, looking for what it's brought you. It's not about, I need to be happy-go-lucky, I can't be sad, because that's how a lot of people misunderstand the moment. If you are feeling shitty, allow yourself to feel that. Allow yourself to feel what you're feeling and allow yourself to think the thoughts that you're feeling. Give yourself permission because it's only through doing so that we heal from past wounds, from trauma, that we're actually able to truly enjoy and experience pleasure.
Mm.
It's about, like, the now isn't this idea that a lot of people have of being overly positive and happy and joyful and bouncing and being like fairies and whatever. It's about being here right now and cultivating the habit of mindfulness. And I know a lot of people use meditation. And I think let me just explain a little bit about what meditation is. Because I know a lot of people who teach meditation say that it's about creating the stillness within your mind. And I tend to disagree.
What stillness?
Exactly. It's about allowing the thoughts that are in your mind to flow. It's about becoming more present in the moment. It's about experiencing the joy, the sadness, the emotion. It's about experiencing more. It's about cultivating mindfulness. And it's not about sitting on a mountain or sitting on a rock necessarily. Like, if that's what works for you, amazing. If it's not, amazing. Because we all have different personalities. We are all very different human beings. And we have different senses that work for us. So if you are someone that's extremely visual, looking at something, a beautiful painting, being out in nature, and actually looking at something stimulates the type of meditation that works for you. If you are auditory, which means that you like listening to things, perhaps listening to music works for you. And something that works well for kinesthetic or movement orientated people is dancing. actually dancing and feeling into yourself. People who like touching things. I know one of my friends loves touching the trees or touching the earth or even playing with a pen or feeling rocks or holding crystals in their hand. That helps people who like touch. And something which I told one of my friends, which they were like, nah, maybe not. But I said, like people that are foodies, myself included, meditation through your food, actually tasting the flavors that come forth while eating, meditating while walking. It's simply a practice of being present in the moment. Different types of meditation work for different people. It's not some religion or some cult or there's the specific description of how you need to do things. It's about understanding yourself better and what works for you. If it doesn't work, shelf it. If it does, use it. Now, I always say shelf it, not discard it, because sometime your future self might need that lesson that you've learned. Then you can just go to the shelf and be like, here's something, let me try this. So I personally like trying different things to see what better suits this version of myself. Because for me, it's about doing the best that you can to be the best version of yourself in this moment. And if you mess up, amazing. You've learned something.
Change is constant. It's
Yeah.
and different things for, I mean, look at you wearing, I'm not sure what color shirt that is, but you might not have been a red man 10 years ago. You might have preferred blue or a collared shirt. We evolve, even our wardrobes evolve, everything evolves. We're not constant. We're different tomorrow than we are today. It's just, yeah, it's just taking that time, meditation. It's just taking that quiet times, like going to sit in a quiet room where you can actually just connect with yourself.
Mm.
You can breathe be in your moment of you. There's no outside disturbances where you can just connect with you. Everybody loves being on their own, but not on a phone. That's external. And most people don't know how to be on their own and be present and be in the now. And that's why a lot of people are spinning out of orbit at the moment. Because everyone's been constantly going, doing. And their switch off time is really just kind of, get home, put it from the TV, but it's not. It's constantly still external stimulation. It's so important to quieten down in whichever way, as you say, whether it's nature, whether it's visual, whether it's watching birds, whether it's watching trees, whatever it is with you and yourself. So important. And nobody's the same. So that's where the system was of life, the story that we've got to live in. We've been conditioned to believe that we're all the same, and that if we're not the same, then there's something wrong with us. And then our self-worth goes goes for a loop. Just because I'm not an A grade student, and I got, then you get told, you get reminded that you're not good enough. But it's not true. We are all different. We are all completely different. Completely different. Samir, there is no Samir on this planet, anywhere. Your God-given talents, everything about you is unique. Everything is about you unique. And it's about stopping, and it's about getting to spend that present time with you and exploring those creative things that excite you and your juices more and more and more often, and putting it down in gratitude of what you are truly inviting, you have in your life, and you're inviting more of your life. Gratitude. And it creates the ripple from now, from the being now. Gratitude is always something you've got in your time and space now. And even if you don't have it, you can invite it in by writing it like down. Thank you. I'm happy and grateful that I have a fully paid off car that is XYZ. That's how I manifested 2 cars like that. Everything is in the now, but it's just really, really, really slowing down. And the way to get through this next month and the way to get through this Christmas time is by being more present, really being more present, having conversations with people presently. Turn your phone off, put it in airplane mode. When you talk to someone, talk to them. If people come and interrupt, stop. And then be selective with what you say, because it's energy. So speak wisely. But it all comes from now, here and now, when you can, as you say, taste your food, hear your conversation, see the beauty around you. Hug harder, be present. It's Christmas time, it's celebratory time of family, despite not material, of unity, of connection. But it all starts with me. And who am I bringing to the party? What am I bringing to the party on my energy field? Oh. Crazy times, beautiful times. Okay? Nothing is right, nothing is wrong. Everything is as it is. It's just to find out who you are in all of this and how you think and what you want, and mold it all from there, from that being. Whole different way, a whole different classroom now. A whole different outlook now. Powerful. Wonderful times. It really is. Wonderful times when you realize that it is all happening for us. So put aside what doesn't work. Put aside. Doesn't work. Stop flogging it. Okay. So what would I like? What makes me feel good? Everything now that we do, everything now that we say, everything now that we create has to comes from a place of good, comes from feeling better. We are after the better feeling, and it starts in the now. Draw the line in the sand. I'm going to feel better. I'm feeling better. I'm choosing to feel better. Gratitude. What do I have already that makes me feel better? Amplified. Gratitude is the biggest, happiest pill that you can take. Nature, gratitude, presence, connection, now.
I think it's also, if you look at the world and how it's moving, it's about looking at what's working for you and doing more of that. And if it's not working, just simply discard it. And I think something that also just needs to be clarified is that I'm not suggesting stepping out of the system either. It's about understanding how that system is either working for you or how it's not working for you, and adjusting yourself accordingly. Because it's so important to cultivate awareness, especially the awareness of self, because it's from the seat of the self that we engage with others, be it other people or other things. And that awareness starts shifting everything else. Now, I mean, the system's been there for many years, and it has its purpose and its place. And there are lots of things within the so-called system that needs to shift. And with this whole change, is going to shift. But the reality is, it's only going to shift if we shift. And if we actually hold hands to bring about the change. Because as I mentioned to you earlier, Susie, there's this idea of masculine versus feminine and who's better. And I find it quite problematic that the way the discussion is had is masculine versus feminine instead of masculine and feminine. Because it's not either or, it's not one against the other. It's about coming together in union. I mean, we all have masculine and
A
feminine within
team.
ourselves
Yeah.
anyways.
Team.
And embedded within either is the opposite. And it's about finding that unity or that balance between so that we can walk hand in hand together to create a better future. Because we've had the wars, we've had so much disharmony and dis-ease. It's about looking at what would be the best possible future for all of us together to reintroduce the concept of community and also of the self. Because we're so disconnected from the self that we don't even have an understanding of how a community would look. Because what role would I fulfill in the community? Because if we actually looked at it, we're chasing after a myth of equality. Because if you're blatantly honest, we're not equal. We all have our unique gifts and our unique talents that we've been blessed with. But society teaches us that we need to make our weaknesses better and we need to make it strong. And I'm saying no. Strengthen your strength, work on your gifts and your talents, and bless the world with that. And the people that you meet, that you hold hands with, they'll be strong at your weaknesses. So you don't have to worry about it. Because together, we can create a better society. We can create a place where there's love, unity, and a sense of community. And in that way, we're actually creating a better tomorrow, not only for ourselves, but for our kids and the kids of our kids. And we can heal intergenerational trauma as well while we're on this journey. And it's about doing it together. But the first step into tomorrow is a step into yourself. And until we take that step and actually truly acknowledge ourselves for who we are, to value ourselves, which then gives birth to higher self-worth, higher self-esteem, more confidence, more self-love. And it's only then that we can truly connect with others. And then the other that we now connect with, if they've also taken that step inwards, it's the meeting of souls. It's no longer superficial, it's more meaningful, deeper, and brings with it more insight. And I think that's the world that we want to create together. A
Oh, yeah.
place by
I think
design.
it's on its way. It's on its way. And then more and more of us just realize that love really does start at home within. And when you're feeling better inside you, the people around you are feeling better. But my only job is me. My only job is me, my energy field, my happy. In fact, even you're talking about crystals, I've even got a crystal I'm busy playing. Happiness. It's like a flat stone. It's a rubbing stone.
Okay.
That's my happiness one I was gifted. So it starts with this. This is what makes the world go round. Lots of us that are in our happy and not letting other people hijack it, and not letting our past hijack our future. By having an awareness that it starts with me feeling better. So how can I do that? And definitely gratitude. A gratitude journal totally gets you there. I have got journals of gratitude. You can open it up and write 10 things a day that you are grateful for, but that you've really got true emotion in it. I am grateful for water that comes out of my tap, not just I am grateful for water that comes out of my tap, you know. I'm truly and like utterly grateful for my eyes that can see, my feet that can walk, healthy feet, healthy body, whatever. Gratitude, 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 gratitude. It makes you forget about all the gray around you. And it makes you realize just how much you do actually have. You look at the Mother Teresa's, you look at the Gandhis, look how simply they lived, and yet they say they had abundance. Abundance is within everything. Material is a material world, is not happiness. It adds to happiness. But happiness is an inside job with 1,000%. 1,000% to be present, to be grateful, and to be the best representative of oneself. All the doors start opening up, and they do pay the bills. The happiness does pay the bills. So don't let anyone say, oh yeah, you can be happy when you've got the job to pay the bills. Exactly what Samira says. Work on the talents, work on your God-given talents that make you happy. So there is an interchangeable time. You just land up doing a little bit of it every day until you can do the turn. But don't ever lose sight of those dreams and what your passions are. If your passions are writing, write. Do it after work. If your passions are drawing, draw. If your passions are poetry, do poetry. If your passions are outdoors, gardening, find a pot. Get into your passion. More and more and more and more and more and more. And it activates your heart. It activates everything about your being. And then you become this energy field that actually attracts more to it. It's a radio station. Really is. And it's worth it. It's worth it because there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's not an oncoming train. There actually is light. But outside, people don't make you happy. The only person who makes you happy is you. Nobody can hijack that from you. Nobody. Grumpy people around you, politicians, world crumbling around us. Magic happens when you are happy inside. Magic happens. People, opportunities, everything turns on because there are 3 sides to a coin, and what is going down in our world is one side. There is another side. You just have to get up on the rim to see it. And then you can choose. We would never have good stuff if we didn't have bad stuff. We would never know the difference. We would never have light if we didn't know shadow. So embrace everything that is churning up and facing you and clapping you and knocking you. Embrace it all and go, okay, clearly I'm not meant to have you in my life and there are lessons around. The universe and God want me to follow my passions. What am I good at? What makes me feel good? What can I? And your good feeling being is what serves this world now. Just got to stop the noise, take all the noise away and stop. Gratitude is a wonderful, wonderful exercise of making you realize what actually you do have, not what you're lacking. We'll invite more. So Samir, thank you. We can have a whole thing on gratitude.
So much blessings. Cool.
A good one. Thank you guys. It was really Yeah, bring it all in. There is hope. There is hope. There is so much that you got to take ownership of you now. So, me first. That's it. Non-negotiable. Okay.